If you didn't know, this is my baby granddaughter. Her name is Ziggy Blessed. What's up, you guys? This is your girl Renee, and today I am going to have a discussion about pescatarianism. From my point of view, some people may not be familiar with what it is, so I want to clarify some things from my angle. And I also want to ask you a question, a big question I want you to think about this whole video. Do you consider fish meat? Okay. Now, this video was inspired by a young lady I just heard on her video, and she was saying that she is a pescatarian and she does not eat meat. Well, I also am a pescatarian, and they don't see you.
I don't try to make no noise.
I'm a pescatarian and I eat meat because I eat seafood. So the first thing I wanted to get into was to give you the Oxford Dictionary definition of pescatarian. A pescatarian is a person who does not eat meat but does eat fish. No red meat. This term was coined in the 90s from Italy, and it was patterned after vegetarian. So they created what's known as pescatarian. Let's see if I'm pronouncing it right.
Pescatarian.
Let's do it again.
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian. A person who does not eat meat but does eat fish. Now, a lot of the times I do a pescatarian diet myself, but sometimes I do have chicken every now and then, but mostly I do seafood. So I was sort of perplexed when I was listening to this young lady's video, and she said, I'm a pescatarian, but I do not eat meat. And that's what made me think, which I've had this conversation before. I actually had it in a church about 15 or 20 years ago. Me and some of the ladies got in a really big debate because they were saying the same thing. They said they are pescatarians, they do not eat meat, but they eat seafood. And I still can't wrap my mind around that, because I feel like anything with blood in it is a meat. Anything that you consume that had blood in it, veins in it, you had to kill is meat. So I'm sort of conflicted when people say, I'm a pescatarian, I don't eat meat, but I eat seafood. I say I practice pescatarian ways a lot of the times. And yeah, I do eat seafood. So let me ask you, what do you think? Have you ever used the term vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian? What do you consider yourself as? And do you consider seafood as meat, or fish as meat? Or is it not meat, and why is it not meat? So that was the Oxford Dictionary. Let me tell you what I found when I asked the question, is fish considered meat or not? And it says, vegetarians do not eat fish and consider that fish is meat, since it is the flesh of an animal. Vegans or strict vegetarians refrain from consuming any animal products, not only meat and fish, but in contrast to ovo-lacto vegetarians, eggs, dairy products, and all other animal-derived substances. So you have the people that are strict, they don't use leather, they don't want anything that may have come from an animal. Someone else said, good question, why isn't seafood considered meat? And one of the answers says, according to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, abstinence laws say meat is considered something that comes from animals that live on land, like chicken, cows, sheep, or pigs. Fish are considered a different category of animal. So I guess that's why some people say, you know, they're pescatarian, they don't eat meat, but they still eat seafood, because according to the Catholic bishops, meat are only animals that walk the land. Wait a minute. Seafood is any form of sea life regarded as food by humans. Seafood predominantly includes fish and shellfish. Shellfish includes various species of mollusks, crustaceans, and endoderms. Seafood is often distinguished from meat, although it is still animal and is excluded in a strict vegetarian diet. Yeah, so the Catholic Conference is the ones that have said that meat are the animals that have walked the earth. So that's why a lot of people consider seafood as not meat. There's a debate being waged by many that challenge whether fish fillets are meat or not. This may sound silly to some, but it is being debated. Some vegetarians eat fish, citing that they are allowed to because fish is neither a meat or a animal. There's a debate being waged by many that challenges whether fish fillets are meat or not. This may sound silly to some, but it is being debated. Some vegetarians eat fish, citing that they are allowed to because fish is either not meat or not an animal. I believe the more accurate term for this sect is pescatarian. Fish are clearly an animal, and the tasty fillets that they carry on their sides are made of protein, aka meat. I will discuss this a little bit further. Definition of meat. The whole debate rests squarely on the shoulders of the definition of meat. You can use a general definition from a dictionary, the criteria used for the food pyramid, a religious definition, or a scientific assessment. The reason a debate even exists is because people often use different definitions. For the purposes of this article, we will use a scientific assessment. All meats share similarities, such as being part of the animal family and being made of protein. Now, the origin. Fish meat is obviously from fish, a living animal. In fact, the meat is the majority of the fish, so you are almost completely consuming the entire animal. This fits the description of being a piece of an animal. Fish swim, fish eat, fish digest, fish see, fish breathe, fish bleed, and fish are alive. Protein. Fish meat is high in protein. It's an almost complete protein. This is because the meat is the muscle that the fish use for the movement. All the muscles are made of protein. This fits the above description of meat as well. And in conclusion, fish is considered a meat. Some might say that this conclusion is too simplistic, but it really is not. The only thing complicated by this matter is trying to classify a meat as something other than a meat. It is a protein, it comes from an animal, that is it, plain and simple. And I always say if it bleeds, it's a meat. The only reason there is any debate is because people want to avoid thinking that they are eating meat. If you are eating fish, you are eating meat. Some people within the Catholic religion follow a Latin definition that specifically excludes fish, seafood, and insects from the definition. This is why they eat fish on Lent. But as stated before, definitions serve different purposes. So I'm going to post a link to this blog below. Yes, I eat meat. I eat seafood. I consider seafood meat. Tell me, what do you eat below? What kind of diet are you on? We all are on some type of diet one way or another. You may be on a fast food diet. You may be on a vegan diet. You may be on a vegetarian diet. You may be on a standard American diet. Let me know what you are on below. Let me know what type of diet you are on below. And have you ever thought about if fish is actually a meat? What are your thoughts? Put it in the rich box below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that like button and click the notification so that I will come up in your YouTube feed. I will see you on the next one. Peace.
I finesse down Western Road, hey, next. So good sometimes I don't, hey, no. I finesse down Western Road, hey, next. I finesse down Western Road, hey, next. So good sometimes I don't, hey.